Hi, Annabelle. I hope you're having a blessed week and a blessed day. My name is Sally Jana, and I'm the founder of Jetson and Company. Now, Freed has told me so much about you. I've looked throughout your content, and I love what you're doing. The fact that you've built a company and also sold it as someone who was an ex-corporate. Now, the reason I love that is because a lot of corporates tend to find it difficult to build a business, especially when they mention it to their work colleagues. A lot of people think that they're not focused on the work at hand, and it becomes really difficult. But since you've left corporate, you've gone on to do amazing things, and that's what I love. And I also helping women do the same thing. Now, what I'm going to be doing in this video is showing the 3 leaks that are keeping you from driving impact and revenue within your own business. Just for some background on myself, here is a client that I started work with in August of 2024. Now, prior to us starting work, they had only generated £1,480 in revenue, and the month after we started work with them, they had generated £18,940, almost a 12 to 13x on what they had made the previous month. Now, as you can see, the months prior to that, they had made around the same amount. So since then, they've made a lot more. And actually, 9 months later, they went and crossed the £500,000 mark. And since then, we've actually generated over £1 million. Now, here are the 3 leaks that are stopping you from driving impact and revenue within your business that I found. What I want to start off with is copywriting. So I picked out some parts of copy within your landing page that I can break down and tell you where revenue is leaking. Now, the first thing I want to start with is the most important, which is the headline. Now, right now, if I go into your page, I actually love this headline. And the reason I love it is because it's very emotive. You said, you have this idea for months, you've told almost nobody, and every day you don't start, it gets heavier. Now, that is great because it's so emotive and it calls out to the feelings that many people feel, that heavy feeling in their chest of not being able to start a business. Just like with anything, feeling like you want to do something but you're not doing it, it makes your chest feel heavy, and I love that. But the thing about this is that you're asking them to feel something before they know what the page is about. And this is why this kind of copy belongs a little bit further down the page, whether it's in the sub headline or whether it's in a different part of a different section as a title of that section. Now, the next thing is module 5 actually breaks the contract you made with the headline. Now, the contract that you make with the headline is essentially they'll get idea to income in 30 days. In 30 days, they'll have their first paying customers. Now, if I go to module 5 that you're teaching, module 5 mentions that you'll teach them the real foundations of wealth, how to turn their business into something that builds lasting wealth rather than just a side income. Now, this adds more to what your promise is. You want to kind of have a one-to-one promise on what you're fulfilling. Obviously, you go above and beyond within your fulfillment, but you don't want them to have to start worrying about how do I now turn this into lasting wealth. You just want to meet them where they are, which is like, I need to turn this idea into income in 30 days. And the reason I say you're losing revenue on this is because it's cannibalizing what you can actually sell on the back end. Once they've built this 30-day roadmap and they've followed it and they've got that income in 30 days, they've got their first paying customers, what you now want to do is attach on the back end something that will allow you to now upsell them onto something that gets them that real lasting wealth. Because once they've got the customers, now they need to keep the customers and bring in more customers in a predictable way. And that's what you can do with a second offer rather than building it into your module 5. Have this be its own standalone offer. And that's where you're actually leaking right now. Now, I'll talk about how to patch these leaks, but the last one is your ChatGPT FAQ answer lands a little bit soft. So I'll go to your ChatGPT FAQ, where they said, how is this different from asking ChatGPT? You told them ChatGPT gives them information, but this course gives them a sequence. There is a difference between knowing what to do and knowing when to do it, essentially first, second, and third. What to do first, what to do second, and what to do third. The right order is what you're giving them, and at the right time, the accountability building every day. Now, I love this last part about accountability, and that's where you can make the copy better. Right now, it's a little bit soft because it's like, it kind of tells them, they can tell ChatGPT, okay, give me a day by day. But you know, and I know that ChatGPT will just agree with you. And that's what you actually want to talk about within this. Now, I want to talk about this tab here, which is something that you can utilize to make your copy better. Now, how Annabelle can patch this leak. In the headline, you want to lead with the outcome and then twist the pain. Now, what I see here is that the outcome is that they're going to get their first paying customers. So you really want to get specific. But if you're just to say, get your first paying customers in 30 days, then you want to say without feeling the heaviness or without feeling something that gives them an objection not to start. So you want to lead with the outcome have it be time bound, and then also remove the objection, handle the objection that they have not to start. And that's how you want to think about creating your headline. The next thing is obviously removing module 5 and turning that into its own product on the back end. Then the next thing is positioning ChatGPT as a yes man that makes you feel anxious with indecision. Now, ChatGPT is actually quite a yes man, and there's data to back this up. Now, here's an example. If you were to just change the copy a little bit and not lean into the accountability section, but you can talk about ChatGPT will give you 47 ideas by Tuesday. You'll still have 0 customers by Friday. But this course gives you one thing to do today, one thing tomorrow, and a paying customer by day 30 with support. Sequence and accountability beat information every time. Now, what you can actually do is use a data figure, data statistic, that allows you to now go against ChatGPT in a way that lands harder. Now, this already lands harder a little bit than your current copy, but a way to now help really make that land hard, to make them understand that they can't be using ChatGPT as a way to have an alternative over buying your product. You can tell them that a study was published in Journal Science finding that artificial intelligence models are overly agreeable, affirming users' actions 49% more than real humans on average. So if a user has some sort of opinion or something, whether it's a false opinion or whether it's a truthful opinion, like whether it's a false belief, ChatGPT is actually going to be in agreement with that false belief, and it's going to go and sway towards what their belief already is, and it's not really going to be helpful. They're not speaking to someone who's already built and sold the business, such as yourself. So this is how you go against ChatGPT within your FAQ to make sure that they're not thinking this is the alternative. Because if it was the alternative, they would have used ChatGPT and taken that route, but they haven't, because there's indecision that ChatGPT gives, and that's the way you want to go against it, creating that friction between you and ChatGPT. Now, leak number 2 that I found is a missed opportunity to increase your average order value and conversion rate. Now, average order value is the average amount a customer spends on your specific product. I think you would know this, of course, because you built a fashion brand. So you would know average order value. I don't really need to define that for you. But how you can patch this leak is having an order bump that makes the challenge easier or gets them the result faster. Now, an example of this is having an accountability group as an order bump. Now, that can be something that's like $27, $47. Right now, the product standalone is $97. Maybe you could add an accountability group for maybe $67, and that would allow you to increase your average order value. Normally, what we do with clients is add 2 bumps, and you want to make sure that bump is either a tool that they can utilize, for example, like a group, or a template, something that allows them to get this result faster. So a template can be like a day-by-day checklist, which I think you already give within the program, but you want to add some sort of order bump that can allow them to get to their result faster. If it's a product business, which I want to go into a little bit more deeply later, maybe it's something like how to speak to suppliers, for example, negotiation templates, negotiation scripts, contracts, that kind of thing that can make them act much quicker. Now, the next thing is having a 30-day money-back guarantee or a win-your-money-back guarantee. Now, I can guarantee you that having a 30-day money-back guarantee in your low ticket, you won't really get anyone asking for refunds whatsoever as long as you deliver the value. Even if you didn't deliver the value, which I'm sure you definitely did, many people don't be asking for refunds for a low ticket. And I'm sure that you've delivered that value because you are someone who is renowned, who's built and sold their own business, which not many people can say they have done. So what I would say is increasing your conversion rate. You can definitely do that by adding a 30-day money-back guarantee. And then if you don't want to give a money-back guarantee, the next option that you can go with is like win your money back. If they take every single action that's within the 30-day roadmap and they have proof for it, they record it, and they also give a testimonial of their experience, you could actually tell them that they've won their money back in store credit. Not necessarily store credit as if this is an e-commerce company, but in credit towards the next step. The next step being how to make that business not predictable and build wealth long term. Now, the next thing is leak number 3 is in the ad account. Now, I've got your ad library here, and what I see is that you're not currently running any active ads, but the inactive ones will show when I click this button. Now, I can see your ads that you ran in the past here. I'm not exactly sure why you only ran them for a few days. Maybe they weren't as profitable as they should be, and that's why you switched them. What I see here is that the ad creative in this static says that the test will be 3 minutes long, but when you click on the test, it displays 7 minutes. Now, if I go to this I'll just go in just so I can be a little bit more specific. If I look at the ad details, it said that 10 questions, it'll be 3 minutes, completely private. When I now click on the ad, it's going to show me that the type form will take 7 minutes to actually fill out. And that's creating a break in trust already, whereby they've clicked on the ad, it only takes 3 minutes, cool, now click on it. And now you're saying that will take 7 minutes. So that already breaks a little bit of trust with the viewer already. Now, the next thing is that the results are actually sent to their email while routing them to an upsell at the same time. And what I mean by this is once they've filled out the application, it gives them a link to go to an upsell for $97, which is a whole other landing page for them to read through. And then also it's telling them that they've got an email with their results. So the detachment there is that people will be going to their email to check their results, and it's taking them away from the sales process at hand, where they're meant to go into that landing page and buy that $97 product, which is what makes the ads profitable and what actually liquidates the ad spend. Now, this is the only thing I can assume is the reason why you weren't profitable with these ads. I assume that's why you switched off the ads, although here on my side, I can't see the statistics and data from the ads to see how much the cost per lead was, whether the targeting was correct, but I would actually like to help you with that. Now, how you can patch this leak is matching the creative with the quiz time. So having the ad creative match the quiz time. If it's 7 minutes long, having the ad that is 7 minutes long, or cut down the quiz itself to make sure that it's actually 3 minutes long. The next thing is writing custom VSLs to match each outcome that they have them watch that as a result rather than sending it just to their email. Now, this is a game changer because it's really customized. Once they've filled out the quiz, for example, at the end, I think one of the quiz answers was structurally intact. If they're structurally intact, or maybe they're partially intact, you want to have a video that calls out to them specific to their outcome on the quiz. And that will help them understand exactly what the result is. And it's a message that will take them through the emotional process that will allow them to buy and have a reason to buy also. That will remove the confusion of when they go in the email. If you like this video and you're a business owner and you want to know where your business is bleeding revenue, I'm taking everything I learned from helping multiple brands scale past 6 and 7 figures, and I'm creating revenue audits completely free, just like the one you saw in this video. So if you want to break through your current revenue ceiling, click here and I'll create you a bespoke audit, customized and tailored to your funnel. It takes me about 30 to 45 minutes, and it takes you 5 minutes to give me exactly what I need in order to do so. And again, like I said, it's completely free. Have a good day.